Going on, everybody? Welcome back inside the Janitor's Closet for this week's Best Bets video. And unfortunately, folks, for the first time in 3 weeks, we got to look you eye to eye as the shades came off this week. Not our best. It happens. A couple plays go here and there, but never been excuses, guys, on this channel, Josh, and that's all right. Last time a bet was lost on this channel, I believe it was 7 or 8 winners rifled off in a row. So we're always looking at the glass as half full. Still a very good year to this point, and we're looking to build on that, Josh, with 2 bets this week.
Yeah, man. Yeah, no, tough week last week, and obviously that stuff, like you mentioned, that just happens. Yeah, it was kind of really disappointing the way the Monday Night Football play went. The other two was kind of whatever it is, what it is. But that Kansas City game was a best bet. Kansas City minus 3.5 was a best bet for a reason. So really disappointed the way that game kind of shook out. Not kind of how I saw it coming. But the Jaguars definitely showed something in that game. They are a little bit more legit maybe than I even gave them credit for this past week. But 12-4 overall, that's the record we're carrying into this week. So looking forward to get back after it. Unfortunately, not a crazy busy slate again for us in week 6, but whatever, we take it. We take it as it comes, and there will be much busier weeks for us ahead. So, but excited to hopefully let's get 2 plays in and out this week, and let's move on to week 7.
Yeah, you mentioned it there. 2 plays for this video. As always, Josh is going to have some plays that he might send out over on X, where you can follow us at TJC Bets. You can also get these plays directly sent to your email for free by subscribing to our newsletter, which the link will be in the description of this video. Just click that link, type your email in. No charge. You don't have to enter in any cards or anything. You just get these plays right when we send them out. Right when Josh and I place them ourselves. We know that these lines can move based on injury reports, all those sorts of things. So you definitely want to be subscribed to that email. And right here on YouTube, folks, we appreciate the support lately. If you want to keep rocking with us, things are about to start trending up again. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment down below. We love interacting with you guys on there, and we appreciate your support as always. Josh, without further ado, man, let's get right into it here. Back on the horse. And speaking of horses, we got the Indianapolis Colts, one of the more surprising teams to this point in the season. They've been, surprisingly a really fun watch, I think, for a lot of people. And they're going to be hosting a team that maybe has been the opposite, maybe not as fun of a watch if you're an Arizona Cardinal fan these days. They're going to meet up in Indy at Lucas Oil Stadium. Josh, where are we going here?
Yeah, Arizona Cardinals for my money. I've said it over and over again. The least fun team to watch in the NFL. I cannot stand it. I'd hate having any sort of Arizona Cardinals on my fantasy football team just because that might force me to watch them. But I digress, Bryce. We're going Arizona Cardinals taking a trip to Lucas Oil Stadium there in Indianapolis. And the play here, Bryce, is Indianapolis -7. We are taking the home team here. Indianapolis has done nothing but cover spreads this year. 1.5 units is going to be the wager that we're making on this one. The Indianapolis Colts are the best offense the Arizona Cardinals will have faced this season. Plain and simple, Bryce. Arizona Cardinals defense has kind of looked, I think, a little bit better than I think that they actually are. Not suggesting that they're a bad defense by any stretch of the imagination, but maybe not quite as good as the numbers are suggesting right now, just because they go and play the Saints, and then they play the Panthers, and then they play the Niners with Mac Jones, and then they have the Seahawks, which is definitely an upgrade, and then they faced the Titans last week, and they blow that game against the Titans. What a terrible, terrible loss for Arizona. Now they have to play the Indianapolis Colts team, travel to Indianapolis, by the way, a Colts team that is averaging 34 points at home through 3 games this season. Listen, Bryce, the biggest thing in this play comes down to, you mentioned the injury report a little earlier. Well, speaking of the injury report, Kyler Murray is dealing with a foot issue and hasn't practiced the last 2 days, Wednesday or Thursday, which certainly puts his game status truly up in the air as it stands right now, and even more on the doubtful side, if I had to guess at this point in the week. That kind of sets Jacoby Brissett in line to start this game. And even if, and which is an obvious downgrade for, it's an obvious downgrade, but from Kyler Murray, if Kyler Murray does start in this game, I do worry about. I talked last week when I gave the play for the Washington Commanders and the Los Angeles Chargers game. I talked about part of the reasoning for that was my concern around Jaden Daniels and his knee, whether it was fully healed and whether or not that would impact his ability to use his legs. Kind of a similar line of thought here for the Arizona Cardinals. If Kyler Murray is able to go, the fact that it's a foot issue that's bothering him, we know how much he likes to use his legs and how that offense, how he likes to extend plays to make plays happen. I worry about whether or not we'll see the same level of play with a guy who's dealing with this nature of an injury. And so with a messed up foot, I don't think that we will at this point. Last thing I'll say, kind of an interesting betting trend that I dug up here for this game that I think is definitely very relevant. I don't know how much stock I'm putting into it, but at least it is relevant and something that I wanted to say. I mentioned that the Arizona Cardinals absolutely blew that game against the Tennessee Titans last week. Led 21-6 entering the fourth quarter and end up losing straight up or outright. In the last 35 years, Bryce, only 27 teams have played on the road after blowing a 14 point or more lead entering the fourth quarter. So in the exact spot that the Arizona Cardinals are in right now, those teams are 10-17 straight up, and 11-16 against the spread. So that it's kind of an interesting little trend in that way, is that history's not on the Arizona Cardinals side. Typically those teams that have blown those big leads and then have to go on the road the next game, there's a little bit of a hangover that ensues from that. And so I am interested to see if that continues against the Indianapolis Colts. Again, not putting too much stock into that trend, but it's at least something to kind of keep in mind. So with all that being said, you also have Darius Robinson on the injury report, who might not play in this game for the Arizona Cardinals. The Indianapolis Colts are still looking like they're going to be without Kenny Moore, but they've kind of gotten used to life without him at this point in time. It'll just kind of be a really nice boost when he does come back. But with all that being said, I just don't foresee the Arizona Cardinals offense with a hobbled Kyler Murray or a healthy Jacoby Brissett to be able to keep up with the Indianapolis Colts offense, which is absolutely humming at home right now. So Indianapolis -7 for 1.5 units.
All right, so we'll be rocking with Danny Dimes and the good people over in Indianapolis. Our second play is going to come in one of the two Monday Night Football games that's going on. The Buffalo Bills are heading south for a day with the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah.
Josh, I mean, there was
Yeah.
some conversation about how we were talking about that. Obviously, we're from up north here in Canada. Let us know in the comments how you're saying Falcons,
Yeah.
because there was definitely some discussion over that. Josh, what's the play over here? Bills and Atlanta, we'll call them for now.
Yeah, interesting. I didn't even realize that we were pronouncing it wrong, so appreciate people calling us out on that. But were we pronouncing it wrong? I'm not sure. Maybe we were pronouncing it right. Maybe they're pronouncing it wrong. Just kidding. No, you guys are American. You guys are probably pronouncing it right, and we're not. Buffalo going to Atlanta here. Over 49.5 is the play here, Bryce. We got the over. We haven't been playing too many totals so far this year. Has been a lot of sides for us, but we've got a total here that I like a lot, for 2.5 units, over 49.5. Bryce, I always, anytime the Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen in particular, anytime he gets an indoor game, my eyes immediately go to the total, because I just want to see what's Josh Allen, what's the number set at? Is Vegas giving these Josh Allen led Bills enough respect for what they do indoors? Bills have not played an indoor game yet this season, Bryce, and although the offense has been kind of fine, the Bills offense, it hasn't been, I wouldn't say, worrisome. There's clearly an extra gear or two that this offense can still find here at this point in the season, which I'm sure they still will even have yet to hit after this game, as well as the weather starts to get colder. You look at what the Bills put up last year indoors: 20 points in Houston, meh. Then they go the rest of the season, 30 points in Indianapolis. Later in the year, they went on the road to LA and Detroit in consecutive weeks, put up 42 and 48 respectively in those consecutive games. The Bills indoors, Josh Allen indoors, this offense hits another level, especially against this Atlanta Falcons defense, which has certainly been a pleasant surprise as a whole. I don't worry about them when it comes to Josh Allen. This, I think, Bryce, especially coming off of uh, an interesting prime time performance against the New England Patriots here recently for the Buffalo Bills. I think this is a perfect spot for the Buffalo Bills to kind of get right that offense, if you would. Bills have kind of just been on. We talked about it in our futures bets episode. The Bills got an easy schedule. They're kind of on cruise control this year, right? They haven't really been. I mean, the New England Patriots pushed them. Sure, the New Orleans Saints pushed them a little bit the week before. The Miami Dolphins pushed them a little bit the week before, I guess. But realistically, the Buffalo Bills from here on out, like they're going to be in cruise control, save for a few games this season, right? I think they got a direct path to that number one overall seed, which is why we have our futures bets on them. But in saying all of that, the Buffalo Bills, I think this offense gets right in this spot. On the Atlanta side of things, Atlanta's coming off a bye, one of four teams coming off a bye. I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, Bryce, against that game against the Washington Commanders, Atlanta made those offensive changes. Obviously, they fired their wide receiver coach that week, but the more important one was that they asked Zach Robinson, the offensive coordinator, to come down from the booth down to field level to kind of improve the communication side of things. And obviously it made a difference in that situation. 34 points they put up against the Washington Commanders in that week. And so I also look at the fact that this game is played at home, which I think is going to help Atlanta greatly. Obviously an indoor team where they're a little bit more comfortable. It's going to help them greatly. And there's obviously going to be a concern among bettors about whether or not Michael Penix Jr. Is able to kind of help this number get over the total. I don't worry about it as much. The Bills play cover three on more than 40% of their snaps. Michael Penix Jr. actually has a negative EPA overall this season, but he has a positive EPA when it comes to cover three. So the defensive coverages that the Buffalo Bills like to play, Michael Penix Jr. sees those a little bit better than against other coverages. So I think that that's going to help him kind of find a flow in this game, along with the fact that these guys are rested and ready to rock. Of course, the Bills have also been a night and day difference. I look at the injury report here. Bills have been a night and day difference at stopping the run without Ed Oliver in particular. Now, Ed Oliver has returned to practice this week, but it still remains to be seen if he plays. Now, I do like this play with Oliver in the lineup still, but it's an even greater value if he ends up missing this game because of obviously the Atlanta Falcons and that rushing attack led by Bijan Robinson. And so, I think that there is certainly a path for the Buffalo Bills to move the ball with ease in this game, and then the Atlanta Falcons kind of pick up the slack, if you would, and help us get this game over the total. I certainly see this game being more in the mid to high 50s, finishing in that range, and so over 49.5 for 2.5 units in that Buffalo at Atlanta game seems like a good play to us.
All right, so there you have it, folks. 2 plays this week, total of 4 units. Josh, we're looking to get back in that win column. Folks, if you're rocking with us, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button we mentioned. Follow us on X. You can get those plays right before kickoff. And if you want them right when we release them, you can subscribe to that free newsletter. Josh, let's get to it, man. We got a busy week here. We'll see if there's anything else coming out once we get some more injury reports, stuff like that. And we'll be right back here on YouTube for next week's Best Bets video.
Let's do it, sir. Hopefully, let's get these sunglasses back on.
Let's do it, bud. Okay. Take it easy, folks. We'll see you next week.